I have a lot of thank yous. Thank you, Director Peter Gilbert. Thank you, Jim, board members. Thank you especially, Mr. Victor Swenson, for setting the example and the tone that started all of this and gave us an opportunity to support and thank and recognize teachers and celebrate the humanities. Also a little story. One evening in mid-September, I received a phone call from a woman I believe to be a telemarketer. Certainly not an unusual experience, usually annoying. It was a Friday evening, we had a house full of company. My immediate reaction was to hang up, but just before bidding her adieu, I heard her say something about humanities and a prize. Please explain to me again who this is and what you want? At any rate, she identified herself as Sylvia Plum, and of course she's one of the staff members here, the communications director, and she explained it more slowly this time. I remember thinking later she must have thought that they had chosen the dumbest educator of all times because I was a little befuddled and confused. I certainly, this is my first conference with the Vermont Humanities Council, but certainly not my first acquaintance with them. I have been a huge fan for years of the work that's been done here. We did, back in 2004, the Vermont Reads year. That was the year they chose Witness, and through the generosity of people in our area, the Vermont Country Store, we gave a copy of Witness to everybody at Mount Anthony Middle School, the staff, the kids, and we had just a wonderful experience. We produced readings, and Karen Hess, the author, came and she spoke to us, and she spoke to students about her craft, and it was a wonderful experience in Bennington. And then, of course, I'm a huge fan of the First Wednesdays program, and we just had in the town that I live in, Manchester, a wonderful turnout at the First Congregational Church for Tom Ashbrook, and the quality of those programs extraordinary. We have this year's Vermont Reads selection, Billy Collins' book Poetry 180. Another good example, and I think Peter just told you about the upcoming selection of Wonder, which I look forward to because that's one that will be a wonderful book for my students, middle school students. The quality of these, just extraordinary, and one of the wonderful assets and joys of living in Vermont that we have access to such quality experiences. And of course, they've done it again with this conference, Music and the Human Experience, integrating an extraordinary range of artists and voices into this gathering and each of these sessions. The musician-born Henry John Duchendorf, some of you might know who that really is, wrote and sang a song that said, "Music makes pictures, it often tells stories, all of it magic and all of it true." And for many of us, music is a way of understanding what we teachers and students sometimes call a learning style. It's certainly a magical way of artistic expression, learning, understanding, and sometimes our way of telling our stories. Let me tell you about the music in my life that is primarily the joyful noise of students and the story that has allowed me to come here today. I'm proud to be a middle school teacher at a time when, as the popular insurance ad notes, there are troubling times in the kingdom. There are indeed troubling times in the educational kingdom, and teachers have never faced greater challenges with struggles for funding, incidents of bullying, violence against teachers and students, poverty, gangs, drug abuse, and schools under fire, accused of failing in their responsibilities and leaving students behind. In contrast, I'm thrilled to have this opportunity to celebrate my profession and our successes. Teaching is extraordinarily hard work. While in some ways it's been the most rewarding work I've ever done, it's often the most frustrating, especially at the middle level. As troubling as the challenges are, and these times can be, we have many great and wonderful things going on, even in our most challenged schools. We have extraordinary teachers who are inspiring and teaching with all their hearts and expertise at this moment and every day. I'm not an extraordinary teacher. I am one of a legion. And so I accept this recognition personally, but more appropriately on behalf of all who teach, my teachers, your teachers, all those people who intentionally practice the art and science of teaching and work to touch our lives in a positive way every day, and they love that work they do. My employment contract says that I teach 8th grade English. A more complete explanation that I sometimes offer is that I teach the American English language arts of reading, writing, speaking, listening, and thinking. That's also a big lie. The real answer, that is, if I am successful, I teach middle school students to become curious, to become lifelong learners, and good human beings. If I've done that, I've been extraordinarily successful. Middle school is a kind of a last chance to grab kids and help them develop habits that will enable them to create a better life. The reward is when this happens. Eunice, one of my students, was recognized as the top all-around student in our school last year. And so we knew about that, and we're very proud, but usually we never know. There's nothing sweeter for a teacher than when a student returns to report their success, or in the case like Rochelle, when one comes back to become a teacher. This week, I ran into Damien, a former student. He became a priest. He's teaching and counseling in Washington. Later in the week, I got an email from Gretchen inviting me to attend her solo singing performances, along with other former students, Shelby and Ben and Darcy, in the Tony Award-winning play Urinetown, which was held recently at Mount Anthony in Bennington. And then Kim emailed me from college to tell me that she would be receiving her teacher certification. For a teacher, there is no greater reward than these visits and messages. She was a little camera shy. She reminds me of my wife. So I'm so proud to accept these awards on behalf of all the students who teach me every day. One of our defining benchmark professional documents developed by the Middle Grades Institute and the Vermont Association of Middle Level Educators is titled, "Middle School's Not a Building." It describes my teaching world. The middle grades are exciting and fertile grounds for students' academic and social growth. Young adolescents are brimming with possibility and potential. They move from concrete to abstract thinking, they take responsibility for their learning, and they develop lasting attitudes about work and schooling. They begin planning for college and careers and making choices that will affect their goals later on. And they bring enthusiasm, humor, and energy to their learning. 10 to 15-year-olds are in the midst of tremendous change, physically, intellectually, emotionally, and morally. They grapple with life's quintessential questions, asking, who am I? What do I want to be? What do I believe? How should I act? They face big choices, many of them risky, and they require strong role models and caring adults to accompany them on their journey through the middle years. I would add that for many, it's a turning point in their lives and a critical time to have that lifeline of a good teacher. So I accept this award on behalf of many. My very first teachers, my parents, Wayne and Marie Bell. Today is my mother's birthday. She would have been 88. She was the first teacher and model for my sisters and I, a passionate, voracious love of reading, ideas, and learning. Our father taught us the enduring lessons of the value and power of work and personal and professional pride. They did such a good job that we all eventually became teachers. A surprise to me last night was that all of my sisters arrived here at different times into the late night. My sister Sherry's here from West Virginia. She directs an adult continuing ed program. My My sister Kathy left a high-powered business career to teach 4th grade in Summit, New Jersey, and her son, my nephew Todd, is a teacher at the Air Force Academy. And my sister Lori and her husband came in from Vista, California, where she teaches special education, and her son, my nephew Christopher, teaches special ed in the Bronx, New York. And our family doctor, my sister Patrice, teaches physicians the most up-to-date uses of data and methods of medical treatment. Our parents were children of the Great Depression, and the most enduring lessons they taught us was the power and value of work and education. And I also accept this award in honor of my own personal tutor, my lifelong partner, my wife Tara, who makes my commitment to teaching possible with her unwavering support, encouragement, and inspiration. As a mother, an artist, a helpmate, a confidant, a farmer, a teacher, a financial planner, a counselor, a publican, and a beautiful Irish guardian angel to me and to our family and all who know her. She's going to kill me. I accept this award in honor of our children, who have taught me more about my students than any college course I've ever taken. My 3 sons, Michael, Matthew, and Nicholas, their growth from boy to man, and the adventures that we've taken together have been the greatest graduate course. Despite the fact that in my family these are often referred to as adventures from hell, they were also powerful life lessons of growing up in a passionate and adventurous family. The perseverance, wisdom, and resilience of our sons, and the wisdom that they've shown in raising their parents and their own extended families inspires me every day. And I also accept this award on behalf of my village, my extended family and friends, and many of them came here today. Our community of friends we Irish call Near to Lucara, our caring community. It takes a village to raise a child. It takes that village to support teachers and children in education. And they have all come here to support me, and I thank them. I also accept this award on behalf of one teacher that's not here. He's my daily co-pilot, John Cosa. He's a middle school math teacher. He's one of us who has come from another career to the teaching profession and brings a passion for his love of mathematics to his students. He was apparently put up to writing one of the hyperbolic letters that brought me this recognition. John shares the role of foil and vent as we wrestle with teaching strategies, successes and failures, curriculum, challenging students, challenging teachers, challenging administrators, and school issues during our coffee, swilling round-trip carpool commute every day. I also accept this honor from the teachers who inspired me. As most of you know, the Victor Swenson Award was created to acknowledge inspirational teachers in the humanities. Mr. Stephen Michaud, now retired high school humanities teacher, called me last week to congratulate me. I told him that this award was his. Although I had no idea at the time, when he jumped up on the table in the classroom reciting Zorba the Greek like a madman possessed, he had planted the seed of inspiration that led me to want to become that kind of teacher. I've had other inspirational teachers. One was a Goddard College professor, member of the Middle Grade Institute, Ken Bergstrom. Ken passed recently, but left on me a lasting impression through the pedagogy of middle-level graduate courses, his passionate advocacy for middle-level education, and his humorous and thoughtful approach to life. And I accept this award on behalf of my teaching colleagues and principal teacher administrators, especially at the middle level. I'm inspired by teachers I work with every day, my Oasis teaching team here, all my colleagues at Mount Anthony. I was hired many years ago by a new principal. He's sitting right in the front row. He's dying. In an old 1913 building, it was a junior high school transitioning its organizational model and practice to the middle school model. And it was planning the details of a new building that had been developing slowly over a dozen years. That would be putting it kindly. David Adams was the principal teacher, and his vision and dogged determination eventually became the beautiful campus and building and community jewel that's become the bright light and diverse community resource in Bennington and the surrounding towns that we enjoy today. This is where I get to work every day, thanks to David Adams. So I accept this award as the continuing challenge that we have as teachers to prepare our students for an uncertain future. Our current principal, Tim Payne, has made technology advancement for teaching our young digital natives a school priority. A group of us attended the Vermont Tech Fest at Killington last week. We don't know what job skills will be needed for the future, but we do know that they will be changing at a furious speed, and our students will need to adapt to constantly changing workforce demands. And while I may not know the specific skills they'll need, I do know that the humanities, the arts of language and reading and writing and speaking and thinking will be the keys to lifelong learning, and communicating with these skills will be the best way to prepare them for a successful life. An inspirational teacher and poet named Taylor Mowley observed in his poem, "What Do Teachers Make?" Referring to his students, he said, "I make them wonder. I make them question. I make them criticize. I make them apologize and mean it. I make them write, and write. I make them read." And he concludes with the reason that we do what we do. We teach to make a difference. Thank you very much.